This is the way to go, because partnership between employers, employees, and government must continue, because we have a symbiotic relationship where we work for each other's benefit. And I think the partnership will continue, and therefore we'll also continue to run those schools. We hope that those schools will continue to benefit all of us. Comrades, we are here also being confronted this time around, not only with the challenge of COVID-19, but also socio-economic challenges. Know that the COVID-19 have caused a lot of disruptions in the world of work, and there have been a lot of progressive thoughts about how we can be able to drive post-COVID recovery. And I think the UN Secretary General of recent gave actually the lead to say that you cannot discuss post-recovery plans without a very comprehensive job plan, and importantly, without a very comprehensive social security cover that will cover everybody. Because one of the takeaway from the challenge of COVID-19 is that more than 60% of the people of the world have been left behind. There was no social security cover for the aged, no social security cover, but importantly, those in the informal sector of our economy. During the lockdown, because our economy is structured in such a way that 70% of our workers are in the informal sector of the economy, including our very respected road transport workers here in their good number, nothing was actually extended to them. And this cut across many, many jurisdictions. And therefore, going forward, it has been made very clear that no progress can be made anywhere in the world post-COVID without prioritizing the issue of social security cover for everybody. What we mean by social security cover is not what is taking place currently within the context of our response in the country. We are not asking for hand packages. We are not asking for handouts. We are asking for a well-structured social security cover to address the post-COVID-19 challenge and also future shocks. This is the thought globally. And as I speak to you, we have already champions that are championing this argument. And that is why the last ILO conference had made it also a priority to have a social security cover, now very extensive, that can be able to address these issues. I hope this particular session will also dedicate some thoughts along this line. Comrades, I listened very carefully to our veteran, and he reminded us about our core values. But importantly, I think, is what every labor leader is committed to. And I remembered that in all the neoliberal policies of the Bretton Woods institutions that have been imposed on countries, particularly African countries, in Nigeria, starting with SAP, unions have always responded. We have always responded in a very pragmatic way to try to address those issues. Whether we succeeded or not is a different ballgame, but I know that we have always responded. And I remembered also, in the beginning of our era, when the fuel price was increased from 187 to 145, NLC was the only organization that stood out. For 7 days, we were on the streets, protesting and saying that this is a neoliberal policy imposed on Nigeria by IMF. And I think that should be appreciated, and I think it is in the context of that that Issa Aremu made the point. We will not sit down and look when things are going bad. We'll always stand out. And that is why we are building workers' power. From what we are doing now and what we are doing in the entire 36 states of the Federation, making sure that workers are educated. Because the first point is to educate them about the ills of these neoliberal policies. There will be no end to such policies. And that is why at the international level, part of our priorities is to engage corporate greed. Corporate greed has been on the increase, despite the fact that wealth have more than tripled around the world, including Nigeria. What have been the condition of citizens? Inequality has continued to increase between the poor and the rich. In fact, the rich are becoming much richer, and we are having people becoming more and more poorer. Those policies are policy options imposed on us. The policy of the regulation, I can say without mixing words, because we don't also say things without actually going into research. NLC commissioned a research work, and we gave that research work to one of the best brains Nigeria has produced from the academic cycle. He's now based in Texas, consulting for about 7 OPEC countries. We gave him that work. He came out with a very profound conclusion to say that the issue of import-driven pricing model that we call deregulation was an imposed policy by IMF. Nobody within the government cycle actually have debunked that profound statement. And therefore, we must realize where the rain started beating all of us. And we must also make a rethink to see how best we can use homegrown solutions to address Nigerians' problem. Before now, and all of us could recall, the best example IMF used to give is Argentina, until the entire economy of Argentina crumbled. And therefore, that example ceased to be a lexicon in the IMF talks. And today, we are talking of the same issue and the same thing. And I'm happy to note that of recent, even the World Bank came out to say, well, they are not imposing the regulation on Nigeria. It is only that the people of Nigeria, particularly government, and the citizens have to agree first. That is a change of the first story. So, comrade, we must be prepared. As I said, the outcome of our second NLC Security and Peace Summit was very clear, that we are going to come up with charters of demand. And I'm happy to inform you that already the organs have been called upon. Those very clear reports and recommendations will be put before the organ, particularly the highest organ, the National Executive Council, 1516. And it's hoped that those reports will be adopted. And once they are adopted, it then actually forms the basis for us to do proper engagement. Proper engagement means every worker will be on his feet. And every worker's voice must be heard. Every family of the worker's voice must be heard. That certainly it has not been rousy for all of us. In fact, the condition has been going from bad to worst. Many families today cannot actually boast of 1 meal per day because of the neoliberal economic policies imposed on Nigeria. Price of goods and services have continued to go up. And the issue of minimum wage is not a privilege, senior, it's a right. The ILO Constitution made it very clear that workers deserve minimum wage. The Constitution of Nigeria, in 2 sections, made it very clear that workers in Nigeria deserve a minimum wage and that government must prioritize minimum wage. It's there in our Constitution, 2 sections in the Constitution. And therefore, I think I've flagged up that issue when somebody from the National Assembly tried to deregulate the minimum wage. We educated them to say, go into our Constitution. That was what our founding fathers thought, that in order to promote social justice and shared prosperity, that workers should not work under a situation of poverty, that workers' rights also must be respected. And globally, as we speak, in many countries of the world, the issue of minimum wage is actually in their constitution, insulated. Today, we celebrate some of the best democracies around the world, and those that are actually aligning themselves with their citizens. And we can say without mixing words, American Federation of Labor, our counterpart, play a major role in bringing about Biden on board. And his first commitment to American workers is increasing the minimum wage from about $10 to $15 per hour. And all of us, if you read through, that commitment is being kept. But in our climb, when politicians make promise, it has only been very difficult to keep such promises. So we'll hold them accountable. Trade unions and credible civil society organizations, from time immemorial, have all political office holders and government to be accountable to the people. That tradition, we have continued with it. Our statement shows so very clearly. And therefore, comrades, we should not be under any illusion that situation can change overnight. It's only us that can change the situation. As we look forward to the conclusion of this very important 17th edition of the Harmattan School, we will be ready to continue to make sure that unions have the best of education. Because as I speak today, I can boast of that our leadership, particularly the leadership of NLC, when they speak to any subject matter, you will find out the difference with even other office holders. It's because of the training we have received. And I'm happy to also confirm that I was also among the first participants to the media edition of the NLC Harmattan School in 2002. And I have many of my colleagues here. I remember James was in that class. So comrades, this is very important. You can't climb the ladder without preparing yourself for leadership. And therefore, I want to urge all of you to continue to prepare ourselves to be a better leaders of our movement. Once again, Your Excellency, I thank you for being here. In other states, when we have such programs, they will run away because they don't want to see the face of their workers. I'm happy you are here. For the reason that you are here, I'm happy. In many states, when we appear, they will disappear. We'll only see them on pages of newspaper and media platforms to say that, well, they don't support NLC. But you are here physically to support what we are doing, and I'm sure you are also going to support this institute because it has a lot of economic value to the state. I remember that is the philosophy that Goswin Ababe used to actually ownership of the property of our grandfather. That's why we're here, Your Excellency. You have seen the structures. We'll do our best, but we'll plead with you also to try to support this process. Issa Aremu, I appreciate and commend you. You have started well, and I want you to continue in this direction. Let us see a very clear difference of having a labor person in charge of this institute, and we'll assure you of our continued support. And once again, Your Royal Highness, please convey my special greetings to His Royal Highness, the Emir of Ilorin, title of Zanda Ma'alama of thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Solidarity
forever.
Solidarity
forever. Aluta Victoria.
The National Comrade President has given us an energizer that will take us through the next 1 week. Thank you very much. So, comrade, at this point, we want to call on the man whom the cat fits, like the President was a human. Invite him to come and give us
a resounding applause for the Minister.
We are fighting from the inside now. Greatest Nigerian workers. Greatest Bagba.
Bagba.
Greatest Big B.
Big B.
Greatest me.
Me.
The governor of Kwara State, Comrade, today I bestow Comrade on him. Comrade Abdurrahman Institute in Sub-Saharan Africa is not a comrade, he's a comrade. He's the host of this institute. The chairman, board of Mineja, the representative of the Emir of Ilorin, the representative of the ILO here present, here gathered, and that a renewed reinvigoration emerges from this program. I want to appreciate the leadership of the NLC and the entire management and staff of MINILS, led by the new for this wonderful partnership initiative, which I believe is a significant contribution to national development. I want to commend this collaboration and its synergy of both organizations. This is the kind of partnership between government and non-state actors that the current government is pushing and nurturing across all sectors of the country's economy. It's our belief that diverse actors working together with unity of purpose is the only way by which we can ensure that we recover back better, fast and strong, as well as purposeful development. I encourage both MINILS and NLC to seek out further areas of cooperation in the areas of training and research, collaboration, and also engage with the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment in furtherance of thematic issues around the thematic focus of this educational program. Today, we surely have a long way to go, and I assure NLC and MINILS that my office is also open to working with you, all on issues that will help propel the development of a sound, harmonious, and industrial relations system in the country. I believe we can achieve this through educating one another. And I just want to say that by the prompting, with the prompting of the governor of this state, and of course with what our vision for this place, we are seriously thinking of upgrading this school to a full-fledged university of labor studies. We seriously need this because we have the infrastructure, we have the personnel, we have the right environment for this school to be a full-fledged university, so that we can attract more funding to this place and upgrade it to somewhere that will be the pride of all of Africa. Therefore, I want to seize this opportunity to congratulate the DG, the management team, and the entire staff of the Institute for the projects which have been completed so far, two of which I hereby invite the governor of the state after his speech to commission today. And so I invite the governor after his speech to commission the completed hostel with a clinic and the entrepreneurship workshop. This is a delight to me because I can see an institute which within a very short time is trying to reposition Minils as the hub for labor studies. Like I said, I call on all so that we can achieve the mission and vision of the institute as a center for excellence and labor studies. I've also told the DG that he should ensure that he motivates the staff here so much. He understands what it means to be a worker because he's coming from labor background. So I have instructed, in fact, this is not an encouragement, I have directed that he should ensure that the 13th month is paid this month. 13th is a directive I've given to him. So I assure you, you will get your 13th month this month. I'm also happy to understand and to learn that he has been paying all the entitlements of workers as at when due. Nobody will be owed again in this institute. This is the dawn of a new era with Issa Remo here. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. You can see why he says he's a comrade fighting from within. So let's give him another Sandy hand. So, comrades, now we want to hear from our very worker-friendly governor. Like the NLC president has said, we go to some other states, the governors will disappear. But here we have a governor who appeared, not just appearing, appeared in a walking people vehicle. When I saw the governor coming out from a Hilos, I said, oh, this must be a walking governor. So Your Excellency, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak.
The Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Barrister Cecil Bamo, SAN, members of the State Executive Council here present, the National President, Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Ayub Waba, MNI, the General Secretary, Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Emmanuel Buaja, MNI, the Chairman, Governing Council, Michael Modu National Institute for Labor Studies, Chief Frank Ovie Kokori, the Director General, Michael Modu National Institute for Labor Studies, Comrade Issa Remo, and members and staff of the management here present, the Chairman, Nigeria Labour Congress, Kwara State, Comrade Issa Remo, the Royal Highness, the Emir of the Lawrence, ably represented by Alhaji Abdurrahman Zulkarnaini, distinguished guests from the International Labour Congress, Vanessa Sala Unjani, top government functionaries, distinguished participants here present, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be a part of this opening session of the 17th session, 2021 Nlc Harmattan School. I said fraternal greetings to all labor leaders here. It's my hope that this training will drive purposeful, objective ideas that will better the lives of workers and the general public at large. The importance of this enhanced program cannot be overemphasized. because of its relevance to human capital development. Our administration recognizes the importance of quality human resources in public policy process. We are therefore committed to train and retrain our workforce to promote and build a viral state with results-oriented civil servants. I believe that this training exercise will hone the skills of our labor leaders in managing all industrial relations. I enjoy the participants to deploy the gains from this training for maximum productivity and efficient service delivery. I commend the leadership of NLC and other labor centers in the state for the understanding and cooperation with government. I especially acknowledge the commitment of NLC to this training. This underscores the law for industrial harmony at all times. Ladies and gentlemen, our state has been experiencing peaceful industrial atmosphere. This is due to patriotic efforts on both sides to maintain a cordial relationship for the benefit of all. Rest assured, we do not take this for granted. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I declare the training open to the glory of God and advancement of industrial harmony. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. There's no doubt that you are a worker, and you believe that time must be consumed for production to go on. At this point, we want to call on the General Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress to give the vote of thanks, and that will be followed immediately by the presentation of souvenir to dignitaries by the DG of MINIC.
A resounding applause for the General Secretary.
Great Nigerian workers, are we tired already? Are we tired already? When we are ready for action. When the union's inspiration to the workers' blood shall run, there can be no greater power anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? Union makes us strong. Solidarity.
Solidarity
Forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.